Hey, I want to talk about one of the most important success principles that there are out there. They're all important, but this one, nothing happens if you don't do this, and that is show up. You've got to just show up. You know, I'm standing here in front of the Vivint Arena where our local team, the Utah Jazz, play. And, how many of us have been to watch one of our favorite sports teams and we're disappointed and we say, man, they didn't even show up tonight. I'm not saying that that's what the Jazz is doing or anything. That's not why I'm here. But we've all been to those games where we hear someone say, man, they didn't even show up. Well, if you want to be successful, first thing you got to do is show up. Now, if you want to get to another sport that I love, hockey, Wayne Gretzky said, you'll miss 100% of the shots you never take. And so, yeah, if you never show up, you're never going to get an opportunity. And so, showing up. I want to tell you a couple things. So my son was in the Marines, and when he was down at boot camp at Camp Pendleton, he tells a story about how they went on one of their big runs. And these things were brutal. I mean, I couldn't do it. My son's much tougher than I am, carrying all of the gear and everything. And they're trekking along, and they get to the top of this hill. And as they get to the crest of the hill, they look, and now they see the ocean. They're Camp Pendleton, so now they see the ocean there, and they see the sunrise. And the gunnery sergeant tells him, stop. And he says, take a look at that sunrise. He says, you're never going to see that sunrise again. He says, I want to tell you about opportunity. He says, if you don't take that opportunity now to look at that sunrise, you'll never see it again. And that's how it is in life, he said. Sometimes there's opportunities that come, and if you don't take advantage of it, when it comes, show up for it, you're going to miss it. And so you got to show up. I have a relative of mine started a job. Her dad was working at a similar place and said, listen, if you come in, he says, you want to get successful in this job? He says, come in, show up on time to work, and just work. Because, right now we're in an environment where so many people want to show up to the job, where the employer has to provide them all of the fun stuff, the ping pong table, all of the different games there, because you want to have it a fun place. And they haven't proved that really helps productivity. But you know what helps productivity? Show up. These are the same people that want the ping pong table that say, yeah, but if I show up 15 minutes late, you can't make it that big a deal. No, it should be a big deal. If you've made a commitment to someone, or you made a commitment to yourself to be successful, show up. Show up early. Now, I used to joke, I've been selling real estate for over 30 years, and I used to joke around and say, yeah, this is when we'll set the appointment because, I'm in real estate, I don't like mornings. That's why realtors never show homes until 9 o'clock in the morning. You know what time I wake up now? 4:30 in the morning. And I start my day because I want to show up. I want to take opportunities when they'll get to me. I want to tell another experience. So in 2002, we had the Winter Olympics here in Salt Lake City. And I volunteered for not just the Olympics, but the Paralympics. And both opportunities were amazing. During the Paralympics, my job was, I basically was a busboy in the dining tent where all of the athletes showed up to eat. And this was really a cool experience. At first I thought I was going to be kind of lame, until the athletes showed up, and I'm watching the athletes come in wheelchairs. And I'm thinking, man, these guys are better athletes than I am, and I have everything that I can use, my arms and legs, and I'm not blind, and it was really an amazing experience. But the problem was, my shift started at 5:30 in the morning, and that was back when I wasn't waking up early, and I would have to literally wake up at 3:30 in the morning to get there on time because I'd have to drive there, and we couldn't park real close. We had to park downtown, and then a shuttle would take us up. And I was not a happy camper when I'd wake up in the morning and I'd start heading off to work, or to the assignment that I had. And there was this one guy on the shuttle every morning, and he was just the happiest guy. He's like, oh, you guys, hey, this is great, so excited to be here. And I'm going, it's 3:30 in the morning, you jerk, shut up. But then I thought about it too, because I liked his attitude. And I thought, here are these athletes that are coming from around the world. And what are the thoughts they're going to have of Salt Lake City when they leave? And so by the time I get to the dining tent where they all ate, and this was a huge tent. I mean, you could you could play a professional sport in this tent. It was that big. I was in a different mood, and I said, I'm going to show them the best thing. Well, what ended up happening is, so I do some little card tricks. I'm not a great magician, but I did some card tricks, and I start going around and doing these with the different athletes that there, and I show them some card tricks, and I got to know these athletes. And it was funny because one of the experiences that happened, because I showed up, is I speak pretty fluent German too, and I had the head of the German delegation there. He wasn't one of the athletes, he was one of the officials, and he comes over, he says, do you do this professionally? He said, no, I just do it for fun. He said, well, we're having a big dinner with all the athletes and all of the representatives that are here from Germany, and would you like to come be our entertainment? And it's like, sure. And, you know, so I went down. I actually ended up being on German television during the Olympics while they broadcast some of this. I mean, what a cool experience that I would have never had I not shown up. But I got to know, because I showed up with the right attitude, I showed up and I got to know the Canadian and the USA sledge hockey teams. And so they were competing for the gold medal. And I tried to get tickets, and they were all sold out. One of the guys, Matt, I remember Matt, he's the youngest member of the team. And he came out and said, Mike, we'll see you at the game tonight. I said, I wish. I said, I couldn't get tickets. He said, hey, Mike, you know, each of us got 2 tickets for our family members, and I didn't have any family show up, so let me go get them, bring your wife. So my wife and I show up to the hockey game. We're sitting there with the family of the team members. I'm the one my seat was right there next to the portal where they come out onto the ice. I'm the one they're high-fiving on the way out. It was so cool. And then when the USA won the gold medal, they looked at him and said, Mike, here's where our victory dinner is. Come on with your wife and come join us. We partied with them till 3 o'clock in the morning. What a cool experience. Why? Because I showed up. So here's the thing. You want good things to happen? You want success in whatever you're going to do? Show up. If you want God in your life, show up for God. What does that mean? Pray to Him. Acknowledge that He's there. Find out about Him. Look for Him in the Scriptures. Whatever denomination you are, go to church. Show up and get God in your life. Because that's going to be one of the other success principles we're going to talk about later. But you need to show up for God, and He'll be there for you. Show up to your job. If you don't work for yourself, you work for someone else, show up. Be the one that they don't want to ever let go, so that when you need that raise, they go, yeah, we need to keep Bob here because Bob shows up, Bob gets the work done. Whatever it is that you're doing, show up. Rule number 1 in success, just show up.